Alright guys, this morning I'm going to be setting this all up to where I can put it out in the country at my property to I have some game cams mounted, and I'm going to set it up to where I have two 12 volt 7 amp hour batteries that are going to go into a metal box hanging on a tree with a camera mounted on it. The camera will take pictures anytime anything moves. I have people that go across my property, and I have deer and stuff out there as well, so I want to be able to see those. But I'm not there very often, so to change batteries or anything like that is next to impossible. So what I got is I got an eco-worthy 25 watt solar panel that I'm going to use to keep those batteries charged. It's about a foot square, 18-inch square panel that will be used. And I have here all the pieces that I'm going to use. These are going to be used to connect my two batteries together, plus to plus, minus to minus. This is going to be tied into these two to plug into the charge controller, so the charge controller can charge those batteries. This hooks into the camera and will be extended by this piece of wire to make it long enough to actually reach to my camera. So that's what we're going to do. So let me get this started, and I'll have to stop the camera when I go to get the box to put this all in, because it's in the other room, and I'll stop it and restart it again. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to strip this back. I'm going to strip this one back, and of course everything will be heat shrinked so that it doesn't allow water into it. So this right here is going to go here. I have my nice Weller soldering iron, temperature controlled soldering iron. I also have a nice stand here. It's just out of the picture that holds my soldering iron. Also has some clips on it, a light, and all kind of stuff that doesn't work anymore. It's just basically a stand now. My giant roll of wire of solder there. If you've been using it for years and years and years, and so let's solder this up here so that it doesn't go anywhere. See, I've already got my heat shrink on here and here, and I got a big piece of heat shrink here to cover the whole joint. So this one here is going to be next. Solder it up. Now another place here in my kitchen, I have a heat gun, which I'll use to shrink those heat shrink tubings with. So there you have it. There's my solder joints. They're pretty decent. These two pieces of heat shrink should slide over like that, and like that. And give me just a second, I'll come back with them heat shrink and ready to go. Alright, as you can see, I've shrunk those two, and they're sealed up good and tight. Now I'm going to slide this piece of heat shrink up over them. You can hear my heat gun in the background back there. I'll put that over the top of it like that, and we'll be right back. There you go. So now it should be watertight. No water can get in there and cause any problems with the connections. So the next step is going to be to separate these wires here and get them ready to solder into the connections for the batteries. You hear my heat gun in the background cooling down. If you don't cool those down, they burn the element up in them. So always let it sit and cool down when cool. Let me go turn it off. You can probably hear me better now. Alright, so these wires, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in here in the middle. I'm going to splice into the middle of these wires to get that, to be able to connect it. I don't want to cut the wires, I want to make them continuous, so I'm going to cut a piece of heat shrink here and use that to cover it up with. Alright guys, I figured out that the heat shrink tubing I had was not big enough. My employee came in, so I had to stop the camera for a while. But here you go. This is going to go over it just fine. I want it to be able to go over these ends so that I didn't have to cut the wire. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip a piece of this middle out here so that I still have room to put on the batteries, and connect both this, which is my camera, and this, which is going to be my charge controller, to these wires. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my handy dandy knife, and I'm going to, and half of my lights just died on me underneath my counter. So when it got darker, I'll cut it like that, and maybe like that. And I'll take this and just kind of strip this piece out of the middle. Be better if I had a knife that was sharp, but you know, hey, this will work. Hope y'all can see what I'm doing here. Not sure if you can. So once I get to the next cut line, it should just pop off of there. Like that. This is a nice heavy wire that came off a UPS in the battery train. If you watch my other video over about the conversion of a UPS battery backup to a solar battery bank, you'll see what these are all about. Oh, the lights came back. How about that? The lights underneath my kitchen counter are kind of finicky sometimes. They come and go. If you like what I'm doing here, just like and follow, please. I'm trying to get more subscribers so that I can build my YouTube channel. So if you would, and there's going to be a lot more to come because we're going to be building an off-grid cabin out of a shipping container in the near future. So hang in there with us, and we're going to get that done. All right, so there we go. So there's that. It's a nice wire. It's silver coated copper, I believe. So it's a heavy wire and it's good stuff, which is what I really wanted. All right, so it doesn't matter which one of these I make positive, which one I make negative. I just have to remember that when I get ready. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug this into here. I'm gonna follow this. If you can see it here, it says battery positive, battery negative. So I'm going to follow this through. And this one's going to be my positive now because it's the same as that right there. So then I can take this and I can strip it back a little more than it is already. Come on. I know I could use wire strippers, right? Just don't happen to have those handy. This is handy. Strip that back like that. This is my positive. All right, so this one and this one are going to join together here like this, and then I'm going to join them to this wire right here. I'm going to solder all that together, and then I'm going to put the heat shrink tubing over it. I'm going to do the same thing with these on the negative side on the other wire. So let's get these soldered up. I don't know why I'm so shaky. That doesn't make any sense to me. Come on, heat up. This is a heavy wire, so it takes a while to heat it up. You may hear my 3D printer in the background there in a minute, starting up. I'm printing a ball mount socket for my camera because I want my cameras to be mounted on top of these containers, which are going to be mounted to trees, and I need them to be able to point down towards the ground. So the only ball mounts I could find were not stainless. They were steel, and this is out in the country, out in the middle of nowhere, out in the woods, so they would rot. So I am printing some in ABS plastic to hopefully they'll hold up in the out in the weather. That's my hope anyway. All right, so here I'm doing the negative one just like I did the positive one. Oops, that didn't work. Keep hitting my camera because it's above my head there. If you watch my video about converting the battery pack, I have to apologize. I watched it again the other day for the first time in several years. It's done 4 years ago. And I really didn't know what I was doing on YouTube. I still don't know what I'm doing on YouTube. I'm trying to learn it. But it was quite blurry, I found out. I didn't realize that when I did it. So I'll apologize in advance for that. It's still an informative video though. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, I did it several years ago. So there we have those. That's all my connections. So now this will go to the positives of the battery. This one will. This will go to the negatives of the battery. This one will connect to a solar charge controller, and the solar panel will connect here. I'm going to mount this inside the box, and so we'll do that later on today. I got to go get some stainless steel screws and nuts and washers because I want them to be stainless. So now I'm going to stick these pieces of heat shrink tubing over this right here, like that. I'll heat shrink that. Same here. Like that, like that. Oh, there's the printer. If y'all can hear it or not. It's just fixing to take off, print my ball mount. Alright, I'll be right back when we heat shrink those. Okay, so I'm back. Here we go. They're heat shrinked up nice and tight. I don't know why that one didn't shrink like it should have. I thought it would have shrunk down more. It appears there might have been something stuck in that heat shrink that I don't know about. But anyway, this is all going to be inside of the box anyway, so it's not really that crucial. So what I got here is, these are my 12-volt batteries I'm going to use right here. These came out of one of those big UPSs. Okay, so I got a positive wire here. This is positive, positive, and positive. Oh, I know what's in there. It's the sleeve off of there. Like the one off of here is in there somewhere apparently. Crud. Okay. And these are the negatives. They'll go here. To here. Alright. So now if I did this right, when I plug this into the charge controller should come on and say, hey, we got battery. The load light came on. And the battery light shows that these batteries are partially charged. I need to check that because they've been on a charger, so they should be full, and they're showing 1/4 charge. My cameras, fortunately, are cellular cameras, so they will report back to me what the battery level is at all times. Every time it sends, it sends me a picture whenever something triggers it, but otherwise, I can go look at the battery level on there. I'll try to screenshot that and put it in the video, put the reporting on it. So this is my box, and I'm going to put this in. See, I already drilled the holes here for the charge controller to mount. It's going to be mounted like this right here. Okay, like that. And the two batteries will sit in the bottom down here, so that what this was. It's a stainless steel box with a key lock. What it was is it was a I own a plumbing company, and it was on the outside of the building of a customer of a restaurant, and the grease connection was in here. The grease company would come and hook up to it and take the grease out of their storage tank. So he wanted to get rid of it, so we got rid of it, pulled it off the wall. Just so happens it's a nice box with some four nice mounting holes for me to mount it to a tree with. I'll just screw it to a tree like this. It's got a big hole in the back. I'm going to put some weather stripping around this hole so that my cords can come out, but no bugs can get in. And I'm hoping it'll do it anyway. I'm going to put some 1/2 inch weather stripping around here so that it'll seal up to the tree. As you can see, there's a big old hole. I thought about putting a piece of metal in the back of it, inside here. There's 4 bolts here that I had a piece of metal in there with a hole cut in it for the grease thing to come through. Thought about putting it back in there, and I decided that that if I did it on the tree, that this would be better to put some weather stripping and let my cords go out through here to like this cord for the camera that needs to come out of here, so it can come out through, you know, like this, come around to the top and plug into my camera up here on the top. And I still got to drill a hole, but this ball mount socket, this is one I printed already. It's going to go up here on top. I'm going to drill a hole right here on the top, mount it, so that I can set this, probably put it a little close to the front, so I can set this camera to where it's at an angle, as opposed to just, I mounted the other ones just straight on like this, and the pictures weren't all that great. So I'm going to do it where I can mount it like that, so that that's what I needed the ball mount for. And this one's made out of ABS. It's a pretty strong plastic. It won't be susceptible to sun deterioration. It'll be susceptible to sun fading, but not deterioration. So I don't care if it changes colors. I just don't want it to fall apart on me. And the metal ones would be rusted, so in a few months, if I wanted to go back and change the angle of the camera, it would be stuck wherever I'd set it because it would be rusted in place. So that's my thinking on this. I don't know, maybe it's not going to be, it might not come out right. I might be making another video in a few months telling you how this didn't work and I need to do something different. But for now, that's what we're going to do. So I'll be back with you later this afternoon when I get the bolts for the controller, the charge controller to mount in here. There's some burrs on this right here where I drilled this hole. Let's see if I can get them out of there, because it's not real good for my fingers, or for the back of the charge controller for that matter. So I'm off to Tractor Supply to get stainless steel bolts, washers, and screws, all that good stuff. Until later, thank you for watching. All right, folks, I'm back. I went to the Tractor Supply and I got these bolts, which are stainless steel bolts. I also went to Academy and picked up a couple more cameras. So this right here is my camera mount. This bolt will go right in the bottom of that. It's threaded just like that. I got a package of 2 of these. These are quite expensive because they're stainless. I didn't want anything to rust. This bolt here will go in the side here. And we'll lock it in place wherever I put it. So I put it there. It says lock there. If I put it down here, it'll lock it in place there. So it's there. It's not going to move. And then they got this little nut here that's going to make the thing hold in place. So it's going to be mounted right there. I do have a locking nut to put on the back side because this is such thin metal, and I want it to be able to be sighting up against it. So I went to Academy and they had these Spypoint Sailor Trail Cams Flex. These are normally $150 and they had them on sale for $99. So I went ahead and bought 2 new ones. My old ones were like 10 megapixel. These are 33 megapixel and 1080p video. This one carries video, which my other one did not. All carriers means it'll pick up its own. It'll pick up a Verizon or whoever, AT&T, whoever's the best. GPS enabled, updates permanently. I mean, they automatically send it up. They automatically update via cellular. Transmits photos and videos to the app. The app is really cool. Like I said, I'll put a picture, a screenshot of the app in the video. Auto connects to the best cellular network. So whatever's best out there in the area, where it's going to go to. Here's your specs on it. 100-foot flash range, 100-foot video detection range. These are going to be really nice. I think they're a lot better than what I had before. What I had before was Spypoint, same brand, but they were the cheaper version. So without saying much more, let's get to put this together. So I went to Tractor Supply and I bought all the necessary hardware to mount the cameras, to mount the solar charge controller, and all this Hillman stuff. Tractor Supply is about the cheapest place to buy this stuff if you have a Tractor Supply near you. Otherwise, you know, Home Depot maybe, I don't know, but the other ones are cheap, or more expensive usually. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a nut out of here, this bag, and we're going to take this out of the bottom of here. I'm going to put the nut onto here, And I thought these were going to be mounted on the top of the box. Turns out I can't do that because these cameras, the mount's in the back. So a little Spypoint camera. It's got a 12-volt inlet right here, which is up underneath when you turn it right side up. When you turn it right side up, it's going to be up underneath, so it's no water can get into it. It's got a nice big antenna that goes on it to make it work. And I'm fixing to set this up today. I'm putting it in on the property tomorrow. But today I'm going to set it up and try to let it flip take a couple of videos or pictures or whatever. So what I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to, oops, dropped it. Let me turn this around so you can see what I'm doing here. So what I'm going to do is take this bolt with its nut on it, put it through the front cover of this box, screw it into here as tight as it will go. Then I'm going to take and tighten it up some more from the underside so that it will stay in place. Nice little handy dandy pocket pliers. I love these guys. They're hard to find now. I'm not going to put too much torque on it because I don't want to rip the threads out of the plastic. It is just plastic after all. It should not ever rot, however, so that's the important part for me. That was the reason I went with that route. All right, so now I'm going to take the camera. This is the top. The top of the box is here, I suppose. It doesn't really matter, but no, the top of the box is going to be here because the charge controller is mounted over here in this corner. So I'm going to put it to where the top of it's here. So put it in here, tighten this up into the bottom of the camera until it bottoms out. Then I'll take the little nut that comes with it, that prints with it, and I'll tighten it up. You know what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to loosen this back up and turn the mount over because the mount is upside down now. And I can't get to the screw with the camera pointed down like I want it to be. So I'll loosen this up a little bit here, a little bit more apparently. Get it like that. I'll tighten it up like that. And the camera will sit like this down a little bit because I don't want it pointed up. I want it pointed down, kind of. Let's see. Like that right there. Now the camera's steady. Okay, pretty steady. What's wrong with you? I have to tighten this up with the pliers a little bit. I'm going to go again. I don't want to go too tight because I don't want to mess up the threads in the thing, in the plastic. That keeps it from moving around too much. So there's that. Then I'm going to turn it over here. I'll move this camera just a little bit up like this so that you can see what I'm doing next. And this, I'm going to mount the charge controller here. The holes are drilled for it. I got some little 6x32 3/4 inch long screws. I would have gotten shorter, but they didn't have them any shorter because I knew I didn't need 3/4 inch. Then I got, where's that? There they are. 6x32 washers, stainless. Everything I got is stainless so that I don't have to worry about it rusting. I don't want that to happen. Let's just take a little nip out of that. Like that. Maybe a couple of these washers here. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the screws from the outside to the inside. That way nobody can come along and try to take the camera off without being able to open the box. I don't know if that's a great idea or not. I don't know if it's even necessary, but also the screws would stick out a little ways because they are longer than I need them to be. And I didn't want them to grab my hand or somebody else's hand while we're, while they're in there, whatever. So put these screws through here, like that. And these are locking nuts. These are lock nuts. You can see the little rubber, little plastic in there. It says on here, well, it doesn't say on here. Oh, yeah, it does. Lock nuts, nylon insert, 632 stainless steel. So, that being said, let's go ahead and mount this dude. This might be a challenge because of the fact that these are going to be on the inside. I might have an issue with them. Let me go grab a screwdriver and I will be right back with you. So I'll start it down here. All right, right back. Okay, back at it. Here's my screwdriver. I'll want to see if I can grab this with these little pliers. I think it's going to be a problem when it gets a little further down into the body of the thing. Yeah, it's going to be, because these are nylon lock nuts, so they're going to want to turn. I don't have anywhere keeping it from turning. Hang on, I got an idea that might work. Takes a little flat blade screwdriver, stick in here alongside the nut, like that, and just tighten it up. And that's working very well, like I hoped it would. The other side is going to be a little more of a challenge. These pliers down in there. Some little bald head here in a second, maybe. Very thankful for the camera, for the phone, having an anti-vibration function, because I just bumped the phone and it went wiggling all over the place, but it didn't show in the video. It partially started anyway with these pliers. Then maybe stick the screwdriver in alongside it like I did at the top. There it goes. Alrighty, so now the charge controller is firmly mounted in there. And all we do is hook up the solar panel to here and the batteries to here. We're good to go. And then this is going to come off the batteries. Obviously, going to come around and plug into to the camera. To show you how this is going to fit and how it's going to work, I'm going to take this piece of foam. Oops, oh, that was good. The mount just broke. It just broke. Great. So that might not be a good idea after all. I'm going to have to use something different. This mount may not work. Well, that sucks. And there is no part of the mount left to be able to use, as you can see right here. Anyway, let's go back to what we're doing. So, the styrofoam's here just so that it can sit flat, because you got this lip on here, and that lip is causing an issue. You can see the lip. The lip's right here. There's a lip on there that mounts it to the wall. And there's one on the bottom as well. So these batteries are going to sit in here basically just like this. The two of them fit just really well in there, just like that. The charge controller. Here's the battery lead. If you can see, I don't know if you can see down in there or not. You might not be able to. Let's go over a little bit more. Let's just take it. Let's do this something differently here. Let's take the foam out of the way. Let's put the solder right there so you can lean on it like that. All right, now you can see it. So this is the charge. This is the battery output, or battery input rather, right here off the charge controller. And now if I plug that into there, my green light comes back on again. If you can see that green light in there, I'm not sure you can. I think you see it the other side. And it means we're powered. It means I got power in the batteries. And the batteries, by the way, I tested them a while ago, and they tested at 12.7 volts each. So I don't know why this is only showing 1 bar of battery, but that's all it's showing. I don't know why that is. That's the load that's turning on and off, and I don't care about the load because I'm not going to use the load terminals of this controller, because my luck they'll get turned off somehow, and then I won't have the battery for the camera. So I just put this, you saw how I did it, put it onto here so that it makes it go out. This one here is where the solar panel attaches to it. And then, of course, now I got to figure out some way to mount the camera, because it just broke the camera mount that I had. I may have to print another one, you know, and try again. But anyway, I might just maybe some kind of hook something in there and make it screw it to it somehow. I don't know. I'll figure something out about how to mount it. But I also have some tree hooks that that mount into the tree, that I can put this box on the wall on the tree, and then this just has to go over to wherever the camera's at, so the camera could sit next to it on the tree, on these tree hooks. Hold on a second, I'll go get them. See, these are my tree mounts. They're from Mule Tree. My cameras are not. They're from Spypoint, but it doesn't matter. They still have the 1/4 inch connector here, and so you just screw it into the tree, and it shows it from the bottom. Mine doesn't have a bottom mount, I don't believe. No, it doesn't have a bottom mount. It's only got the back mount. So I didn't figure out how to make that work with this camera, but I probably could. I could probably screw it into the tree on the side and have my camera this way, and then I can move the tree. I can move it up and down like that and make it work, I would imagine. Looks like it might work that way. Or I could mount it like this a little bit. I don't know. I can figure something out to do with these though. I got 3 of these, and I've got 2 cameras here that I just bought, and I got 2 cameras already at the property that the solar panel, I lost the solar panel in my system, and apparently it went down, and therefore my cameras are down now. This guy's not going to work yet because I do not have an SD card to put in it. I have to have an SD card in it or it will not work. So I've got to go get an SD card and put in this thing. It also has a spot for batteries in here somehow. Yeah, battery case right here. I will not be using that. Obviously, I'll be using my 12-volt batteries. So let me go find an SD card. See, my full battery here. So I'm full. My batteries are good. And then I'll take these and I will attach it to my cell phone. And like I said, I'll put a screenshot of that in the video somewhere. So anyway, let me go find a way to figure out how to mount this dude to here, because there's something wrong here. And once I figure that out, then I can get it mounted, and we'll go from there. I'm not figuring out how to do that. I'm not sure what I want to do there. I might just drill a hole straight through the center, put a 1/4 inch bolt all the way through, countersink it in the back of this. This is actually a really good mount as far as that goes, but this piece is really weak. So let me figure that out, and I'll be back. Okay, folks, so the way I did it, I took my drill. I drilled through the center of this dude all the way through. Of course, it broke apart in the middle, but that's okay too. It doesn't hurt anything. Now let's screw right into the back of here, and it's a metal thread instead of plastic. It tightens up really nicely in there, actually. Let's take this and tighten it a little more. I cut the back of this ball off so that it would be rounded all the way down. You can see the rounded, that way the screw's rounded too. So now it should pop back into here, like that. Now we should be good. I'll get mounted back on here like this, and we should be set. Let's try this and see what happens. I'm not sure how well the plastic's going to hold up. Never done it before. We're going to find out though. We're going to put it out in the country and see if it lasts. And if it doesn't last, well, I'll have to make a trip back out to the country to fix it, I guess. Hoping you guys can hear me okay. I don't know. I haven't been a long time since I used the camera to make a video. So, all right. So this is our locking bolt here. That's another thing that may not work real well, but set that there. Tighten this dude down here. Seems to be tightening it pretty tight. I mean, it'll be okay. Like that. Then I can adjust this to tell me where I want it, you know, however high I want it off the ground. If I want it right there, that's probably about where it'll be. It'll end up being about like that. And that holds it pretty well. It's not great, but it's okay. I would prefer a better mount, but I said the only thing I can buy is steel, which would rot. So we'll run with that one. And that seems to work pretty well. It's tight enough. I can get to the access to the bottom to get back into it so that I can set it up. Here's the antenna for it. It goes right here. That's a pretty fair size antenna for a little big camera. But this is out in the middle of nowhere where it's going to be. It's going to be out in the middle of my 5 acres out in southern Louisiana. So there you go. There's the camera with the antenna on it. I don't know if you can see it or not. It is with the antenna on it. Next step is to get the solar panel to where I can mount them on the tree as well. But to do that, I'm going to mount hinges on the top of the solar panel and then a bar at the bottom to make it stand out at an angle that I want it to be at. You know, that's goofy. I have my hands in front of it, but then anyway, put that on there so that it will it'll stand out from the tree at a right angle to where I can get maximum sun exposure on the panels, not panels, panel. And then it should work. I'm probably going to go ahead and add another cord to this because I got 2 cameras now. My plan was I've got 2 cameras on my other one now, my other box like this. Now, my plan was to take one of those cameras and put it on this box. But now, with these nicer new cameras, I got 2 more cameras. So I probably will go ahead and put a second cord on this and maybe mount the other one on one of these tree hooks so that I can, you know, get 2 different angles. Maybe one on one side of the property and one the other direction. The other 2 cameras will get mounted, remounted as well, so that they can see the whole property better. So anyway, so that's where we're at. Next video will be mounting the solar panels, or the solar panel with the hinges and all. So stay tuned. Like I said, if you like what you see, if you're interested in the build out of the container as it goes along, like and follow, and you'll see the videos as they come out. That'll be a couple of years in the making. I forgot to get foam to put around the back of this thing, so I'm gonna put some, I'm a plumber, got a bunch of foam pipe insulation. I'm just gonna put some of that around it, and that'll push these out toward the door, which will help a little bit too, keep them from moving. It'll also give me foam back here against the tree so nothing can get in the back of the box, but the cords can still come out and still function right. So like I said, if you like what you see, like and follow, and we'll continue from there. Have a wonderful day.